main attribute I'd say Fly had throughout his whole career was pure hardiness and this want to win.
They're racing up towards the finish. Hurricane Fly from Jesky and acting far. It's a tremendous battle. The Hurricane is unbeaten at Leopardstown.
Anytime he got into a head-to-head with anything else, he was the one that was always going to come out on top. So I started looking after Hurricane Fly back at the start of the 2010-2011 season. Sarah Duchesne had him in his early years, and then Ali Couchman had him for a season. And after Ali left, I moved from the red barn to the green barn. And when I moved to the green barn, I inherited Hurricane Fly as he was already resident in the barn. I think I was lucky enough to know that he was a special horse because I'd already seen what he'd done with Sarah. So I knew I was very lucky to get him into my care when the girls left and he became mine. He'd already shown plenty of ability and we'd already saw a lot of what we were hoping would come down the line, and sure enough, he delivered and delivered and delivered again. Throughout his career, I think Hurricane Fly was known for being a little bit of a brat, a little bit pushy. I think a lot of people maybe got him wrong and they thought he was sort of bad-tempered or ill-mannered, but it was just that impatience that he needed to get on with his work. He needed to get going forward. First thing in the morning, as soon as I turned the lights on, he was ready to go. So he actually went to the walker before he even got his breakfast. And the same after lunch, as soon as I came back from lunch, he was at the door banging, but it was just because he knew it was his time to go to the paddock. So before I did anything else in the afternoon, he had to get turned out and then we could go on with the rest of the afternoon. So to ride out, I always thought that Fly was probably a little bit difficult. Paul was the one that rode him all the time. If Paul was ever out injured or maybe racing in England, Niall Kelly, Jack Madden, Sonny Carey would have stepped into the breach. And I never actually got riding him until we went to Paris for his last run. None of those boys travelled, so it was a case of, well, sure, might as well have a go and take him out to the gallop myself. And from there, he actually retired in September, but stayed with us in the yard till the Friday before Cheltenham. And I think Paul rode him for the first week after his retirement, until one work morning, Willie kind of looked around and was like, "Paul, what are you still doing riding him? He's retired. Why is he on first slot? You need to be riding like the rest of them at this stage." So he got knocked back to fourth lot. He went to the paddock first thing in the morning, came in for fourth lot, and I took over then. And I remember saying it to Paul one day that I thought he was hard to ride, and Paul just laughed and goes, "No, I just didn't want anybody else taking the spin." And like the hardest bit was getting him on the gallop, just getting him over the sand onto the wood chip and getting that turn. And sure, once he was on the gallop, he was a dream to ride. Like Paul got him, I think was it 18 when he won his first Grade 1 on him. And Ruby got a lot of the wins on the track, but Ruby never really got riding him at home. Paul did all his homework, all his fast work. And yeah, no, he was definitely one of Paul's early highlights. So Fly went 10 from 10 in Leopardstown. He got 4 Christmas hurdles, 5 Irish champion hurdles. He just seemed to love the track, even as like one of the last days when he looked like he was beaten out the back straight and we were all starting to worry. He picked up into the bend and just like rallied the whole way to the line and got up just in front of Jetski. I'm not sure what it was, but he just operated at Leopardstown every time he turned up. He was there. So whenever Fly won coming back into Leopardstown, a lot of the time it was relief, especially in the latter years when like the people had started maybe to write him off a little bit after Jetski had beat him a couple of times. To come back and then turn the tables again, just to prove that he still had it, that he still was the absolute machine we thought he was something special. And I think his last run in Leopardstown, the reception he got from the crowd was absolutely amazing. I suppose like the depth of the crowd around the parade ring, the reaction he got, and you could see the people's reaction when I took him up to the hedge that time, and everybody just wanted to get their hand on him, to get him a pet. Lucky enough, nobody lost their fingers that day. He was probably a bit more interested in the hedge. But no, he definitely got a special reception, and that for me was just like a few times maybe he didn't get the recognition he deserved, but towards the end he was definitely getting the recognition he deserved. My best memories, probably that last run in Leopardstown, and even his retirement parade. Just the way people reacted to him, the turnout. Definitely the last one, whenever he got back in front of jet ski there, and that the commentary, even when, like, it still rises goosebumps. And here comes Hurricane Fly. That line just seemed to resonate time and time again.
And it's jet ski now. Here comes Hurricane Fly.
Too many to mention, but that last one was probably one of the best ones. So this is where we stood the day we brought him up for his retirement photographs back the Friday before Cheltenham. And he's got such a great life here in the National Stud. It's brilliant that he's got so many fans that can come to see him. There's so many people on Twitter putting up pictures of him. I only work over in the Curragh, so he's easy to get over and visit. And like I said, Niall Kelly, that used to ride him a good bit, actually works here now. So like Niall's keeping an eye on him for me too whenever I can't get over.